Most of the physics we rely on was built from experiments that were never meant to agree or align with each other. Michelson-Morley wasn't designed to explain Sagnac. His U wasn't built to match Pound and Rebecca. Heffel and Keating wasn't meant to line up with gravitational lensing. Yet when you look at them through the lens of a field-based impedance system, the pieces snap together like a tool you didn't realize you were building. Nothing new is added, nothing old is thrown out. The parts were always there. They just needed to be assembled into the machine they were always quietly describing. Symbiotic Cyclical Binary Cosmology, Volume 5, Tesla's Impedance Pump, The Prisms of Reality. Greetings. My friends call me Rick. You should too. This is Volume 5 of my personal grimoire, the SCBC, yet another inescapable cosmic observation. Hopefully you will get pumped up for the logic, enough to imagine beyond the limits of cosmic ash. So get comfortable. This heresy is going to reimagine the polarity of reality. As usual, light 'em if you got 'em. Statement number 1. Trinity balance. The Prism Impedance Resolution. SCBC Volume 5 Technical Core. The universe is a closed-loop mechanical system, a binary field pump, operating across a three-stage gradient of impedance, Z. Modern physics is currently in a state of crisis because it attempts to measure the effects of this system without acknowledging the medium itself. In the symbiotic cyclical binary cosmology, reality is not a presence, but a localized impedance failure, blending. Z1 within an ultra-potential ridges background field Z2, the Z-level architecture, a binary gradient. To understand the Trinity, one must first accept the architecture of the medium. The universe is not empty space. Rather, it is a solid-state field with varying degrees of binary resistances and potentials. Z0 is one pole, Z2 is the binary opposing pole, Z1 is the axial permitting them to exchange. The floor, Z0, the lambda void, this is the state of absolute potential stillness. It is the zero impedance floor where the field medium exists without work. There is no friction, no heat, no time, and no manifest reality here. Only the dormant lambda potential waiting to be clamped into a state of motion. Statement number 2. The manifest Z1, the corporeal ballast. This is the zone of shrapnel clutter generated by high-velocity impedance fractures. Z1 is the axial for the base binary fields, a mechanical medium of exchange. When entropy's infinite Z0 field potential is excited beyond its static containment limit, the absolute stillness is compromised. The Boolean consequence is latent potential rebound, Vmax plus 1, and then it spills into the new Z1 lambda domain as ballast. Since entropy cannot actually move or spin itself, the ballast moves around it instead, deforming the ultra Z2 field. Matter is the localized toroidal knot where two opposing mediums are forced into a state of detectable resistance. This is the only domain where substance is perceivable. The beyond lambda, Z equals 2. The ultra-realized field, the obviously binary opposite to entropy. This is the high impedance, hyper-rigid field plenum that provides the background pressure and opposing energy polarity required for the cycle to oscillate and persist. It is the hot, realized potential, a field so packed, stretched, and so rigid that it functions as a solid-state pressure lattice. The trinity of detectable consequences, PRISM effects. What the orthodoxy identifies as fundamental forces are actually the PRISM effects of the Z2 field interacting with the Z1 cavitation consequences. These are not separate laws. They are the mechanical symptoms of the medium's density. Statement number 3. Gravity, the centripetal displacement pressure. Gravity is the resulting effect of toroidal field cavitations inside the Z1 domain. The mechanical consequences of displacement, not an attractive force. When a toroidal knot, Z1, is formed, it occupies a volume of the medium that was previously occupied by the Z2 field. The mechanics. Because the Z2 field is higher impedance, functionally more rigid, it exerts a constant inward pressure to renormalize the space. We are being pushed toward the center of the Earth by the background pressure of the Z2 field as it attempts to heal the cavitation of our mass. The validation. This resolves the dark energy mystery. The universe isn't flying apart. The Z2 field's background pressure is simply maintaining the equilibrium of the lattice. The Hubble tension, currently baffling astronomers, where the universe seems to expand at different rates, is simply the measurement of the medium's pressure gradient. We are seeing the medium's density change across the vast distance of the cavitation. Statement number 4. Light, the refractive ripple of the mirror. Light is the oscillation of the medium, not a projectile particle. As a toroid spins, it vibrates against the fully reflective surface of the Z2 field. The mechanics. Because the Z2 field has a fixed high impedance, it acts as a universal prism. What we detect as a photon is actually a refractive shimmer, the surface wave, produced as the toroid spin scratches at the reflective mirror of the background field. The speed of light is not a speed limit, but the refractive index of the Z2 medium. The validation. This explains the early monster galaxies recently spotted by the James Webb Space Telescope. They aren't too old or too big for a Big Bang. They are simply high torque cavitations viewed through a different refractive gradient. The light is distorted by the Z2 density between us and them, creating a mirage of age where there is only a mechanical distance. Statement number 5. Time is the metronic friction of the pulse. It is the consequence of mechanical activity. The exchange rate between Z2 pressure and Z1 persistence. The frame rate of the universe's corporeal expression. The mechanics. Every Z1 toroid must constantly pump against the Z2 pressure to maintain its structural integrity. This creates torsion drag. Zero activity results in zero time to be measured. Time is the frequency of this mechanical pulse. The validation. This resolves why time dilates near high-density mass effects. When the cavitation is deeper, the Z2 field has more impedance drag to overcome. The tick of the universe slows down because the mechanical resistance to oscillations is higher. Time is not a dimension. It is the friction of existence within the Z2 deformation Z1. Statement number 6. The mirror paradox. The identical nothingness. The Z0 floor and the Z2 ceiling are terminal polarities that appear to an observer as an identical nothingness. They are fully reflective surfaces because they represent states of total mechanical consistency. The mechanics. Z0, the vault, cryonic entropy, is nothing because it is a state of zero resistance. There is no physical medium to catch a ripple or hold a shape. All activity is at rest, collapsed. Z2, the plenum, realized field, is nothing because it is a state of infinite realization. It is so perfectly smooth and packed that it cannot be vibrated or detected by our Z1 instruments. The validations. A mirage of solidity. We only perceive the solidity of our universe because the toroidal cavitation, Z equals 1, creates a temporary crack in the mirror. Matter is the interference pattern between two nothings. We are the shimmer caught between the void that wants to swallow the Z equals 1 medium and the plenum field that wants to solidify it. Statement number 7. The Hawking conversion. A ballast reindexing. Hawking's conversion is the final impedance field renormalization. When a toroid's spin frequency, his torque, drops sufficiently, it can no longer sustain its cavitation equilibrium against the Z2 pressure, thus liberating the unconfined fields. The mechanics. The Z1 clutter is reabsorbed when the cavitation is healed by the Z2 field. To an observer, the matter vanishes into a black hole, a zone of total reflective nothingness. In reality, the information, energy, has not been destroyed. It has been renormalized, phased, back into the realized high potential medium of the background field. The validations. The universe is a solid-state field pressure lattice. Gravity, light, and time are the symptoms of the Z2 medium being forced to accommodate the Z1 intrusion. The crisis in modern physics is the inevitable result of measuring the shimmer on the mirrors while ignoring the mirrors themselves. Well, class, these cosmic observations conclude Volume 5 of my symbiotic, cyclical, binary cosmology model, or today, Tesla's impedance pump. You've witnessed the overwhelming cornucopia of unintentional validations. Though not proof in the traditional manner, their consistent logical alignments form an alternative model that cannot be ignored and has not been impeached. I do hope that you dug it just as much as I did, grinding it all out for you. Hopefully, I have informed and inspired someone, as well as illuminated and exposed an ancient mirage and fable or 6. Time again for you all to freely discuss this among yourselves a while. I will see you all again for the next volume. God bless and rest in pieces. Class dismissed. P.S. May you find your independence from ancient ghost stories. To whom it may concern, this video is dedicated to my very first friend in Star Trek timelines, and the very first one to welcome me back after my unfortunate 6-year absence. Moogie's favorite, you were always a compassionate soul. May the stars greet you as warmly as you welcomed others. Rest in peace, soul friend.